In today's episode, we are on a day trip to Johor Bahru to shop, to eat, to shop, to eat, to shop, to eat, to shop, to eat. Tebrau, right? Can go Tebrau. Just stepped out of JB Custom. And first thing first, we are trying to find out this bright pink bar service you probably have seen all over Instagram, BAS.MY. From JB Sentral bus station, we hop onto BAS.MY J34 straight to Sutera Mall. It is super convenient as it stopped only a few spots along the way before dropping me right at the mall entrance. The bus ride one way only costs about 280 ringgit and takes roughly 20 to 30 minutes for the 17-kilometer trip. Oh well, we are just too early when we reach Sutera Mall. So my friend and I decide to hang around the area to hunt for breakfast. Where we are now at Taman Sutera Utama, we saw this modern retro Nanyang style cafe chain. Hock Kee Kopitiam. Hock Kee Kopitiam is one of those modern retro Nanyang style coffee chain you will see all over Malaysia. This classic Kopitiam vibe has a modern twist, serving traditional favorite like kaya toast, kopi and half-boiled eggs, nasi lemak, and more nostalgic dishes. But flipping through the thick menu, we are spoiled for choices, with plenty of familiar Malaysian breakfast options to choose from. That said, the menu is not surprisingly different from other retro kopitiam, so we have an idea what is expected. Coffee is a must order. You cannot come to a kopitiam without kopi, right? And I can get to see the coffee barista making my morning brew right in front of me. Hock Kee even have this small retro biscuits with our drink. Having a good coffee is the perfect way to ease into the day. But honestly, they come a little bit too soggy and lost their crunchy way too fast. Then we tried the dry mee siam, but it didn't hit that flavor punch we were expecting. And my otah toast, just a little bit too fishy for my taste bud. The highlights for me though is definitely the half-boiled kaya toast though. The eggs are just soft, nostalgic, and just right with a cup of coffee. That's classic breakfast vibe. By the time we are back at Sutera Mall later in the morning, the festive stores have just opened up and the place is starting to buzz. This is my first time here, and one big reason we picked this mall today is because it is famous for hosting the biggest indoor Chinese New Year festive market in Johor Bahru. They say there are over 100 stores set up all over the mall's atrium and ground floor, selling everything from festive treats and decoration to gift hampers and traditional snacks. And I got to say, the store holders here are mostly young crowd, which gives the whole market a really energetic, easy vibe. Maybe because it's still early, but everyone was super friendly and even offering taste of their snacks. There is no awkward asking.
面汤的辣的，
辣的。
来大哥试一下吧。
好的，谢谢。
哇，你们都还有
Just 3 bites and smiles. You can definitely find lots of cute festive items here.
有 sugar 的也是有哦。
And it gives this Sutera Mall a bit more fun and colorful than the old school festive markets. I actually made a full walking video of Sutera Mall and Johor Jaya already, so won't repeat everything here. We didn't buy that much today. We probably figure we still have a whole day before us of exploring Johor Bahru. Our next stop today is the real old school Kopitiam in northern Johor Bahru. Quite away from Sutera Mall in Skudai, about 25 km or so northwards. Taking public bus back to central Johor Bahru and then up north would eat up almost 2 hours. So we decided to grab instead, cutting through the ring road and cruising along the Tebrau highway. As we are driving, we see Aeon Tebrau and IKEA JB on our left. These are landmark checkpoints if you want to do this route yourself. From here, it's just a 5 minutes hop north to our Kopitiam, a place called Seng Huat Coffee Shop. According to CNA Lifestyle, Seng Huat Kopitiam is one of Johor Bahru authentic old school Kopitiam. What we see here is completely different from what we see online. So my friend and I look at each other like, is this the right place? Same place as what we saw online, but the building and vibe doesn't quite match the pictures we had in mind. In the end, 来都来了, we figure might as well give it a try and see what happens. Who knows, maybe we will unearth Johor Bahru next hidden gem. It turns out these Seng Huats really keep it simple. The store here basically sells just char siu and siu yolk. There's no fancy menu. The owner is super friendly, one of those genuine local uncles who love to chat.
没有啦，新加坡人。
He even shared parts of his life story with us while we wait. And that honestly one of the best part about visiting these small town places. It's about the people, not just the food. He even gave us a complimentary chicken feet each too, which I thought is a very nice gesture. Food-wise, not bad at all. Those roasted meats were decent, and it definitely have the local Kopitiam feel. But if we are being real, is it worth the 25-kilometer trip purely for this? Probably not. Still, it is a fun detour and definitely one of those memories you won't get from eating in the mall. After our lunch at Seng Huat in Ulu Tiram, this old school Johor neighborhood is about 18 km north of Johor Bahru city center. We decided to explore the town a bit. Ulu Tiram is just one of those places we normally wouldn't land ourselves into if we were just mall hopping. This neighborhood consists of rows of two-story shop houses, an old school market, and random little shop lying along the main road, just like any proper small Malaysian town.
Oh no!
Then suddenly, I spot a pink bus about 100 meters ahead of us and decided to just run for it. I am not entirely sure if that is the exact bus we are looking for. But I have this hunch, if I miss this bus, may have to wait another 30 to 45 minutes for the next bus.
Tebrau, right? Can go Tebrau?
Local buses in Johor Bahru
Tebrau.
don't come every minute, so I dashed like my life depended on it. Luckily, the driver saw me and wait for this uncle. Thank you, uncle. I really do like seeing the recent improvement in Johor Bahru public transport. Buses like BAS.MY, that pink fleets you see every now and then, are really a big help. Not everyone coming from Singapore is rich and loaded, huh? and buses make the city way more accessible for us peasants who wants to explore Johor Bahru without spending a fortune on Grab and taxi. Next up, Tebrau City. The bus ride from Ulu Tiram down here only takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Short and sweet, perfect for the next chapter of our Johor Bahru adventure. Tebrau City is actually my second time coming here. The first time to Aeon Mall, Tebrau City was a few months ago in my school dive video. Today, we are really here just to use it as a cool down and refreshment stops after all that running around. It is one of those many shopping malls that gives you a lot under one roof, like shopping, food, cinema, all in one breathable air-conditioned space. And since it's the Chinese New Year season, it is not surprised to see a pop-up festive market and roadshow happening right at the atrium inside the shopping mall. Almost every market in Johor Bahru try to capitalize on one of the biggest shopping season of the year. Here at Tebrau City, the theme leans a little bit more floral and bright, with blooming seasonal decor that ties in with their Prosperity Blossom campaign for Chinese New Year. Right in the middle of the mall, there is also a giant fortune god installation. It is made for that festive selfie or what moment. They even set up a little children playground next to the festive area, which makes the whole area more lively and family friendly. And to add a local twist, there is a small pop-up Hock Kee Kopitiam store in one corner, selling coffee and nostalgic local snacks right among the festive booth. And speaking of food stores, there is one bakery, Joy Mum, where they actually bake pineapple tarts behind a transparent kitchen. You can actually see pieces of pineapple tarts being made. Needless to say, gimmicks like this have the longest queue we saw that day. I'm also on the lookout for a bit of Chinese New Year themed dressing here in the mall, especially those Adidas style Chinese New Year jackets that have been all over the streetwear scene here lately. Of course, a lot of what you see around here are affordable knockoff, but hey, why not try them on and have some fun with the outfits? Fashion is after all about experimenting. We couldn't find a coffee spot that matched our mood in Tebrau City, so my friend suggested heading to Taman Mount Austin, which I've never visited before. I was like, sure, why not? I'm always down to explore something new. Taman Mount Austin is this bustling and trendy neighborhood in Johor Bahru that has become a go-to spot for food, cafe, bubble tea and entertainment. On the map, Mount Austin is less than 2 kilometers from where we were. It looks pretty close, but in reality, the place is separated by a highway and even a tunnel, so we just take a grab in instead. After all, we do not want to get into an accident, right? Our next refreshment stop, Kirin Coffee. It is one of the new kids on the block in Taman Mount Austin. This place only opened about 3 months ago and is already one of the quirkiest Instagrammable cafe popping up in Johor Bahru cafe heavy neighborhood. From the very moment I walked inside, the color scheme hit me. It is super bold, super bright and very in my face. Everything here feels like it comes straight from a modern arts museum or a movie set. Honestly, it makes me feel as if I'm wandering through some stylized Dick Tracy backdrop with all the loud reds and funky props. Kirin Coffee isn't huge. The layout is kind of narrow, so don't expect any massive seating. But what it lacks in size, it makes up for in visual impact. Every corner is Instagram worthy, from the props to the color of the quirkiest collectible pieces scattered around. Even the food and drinks match the vibe. These bright, colorful drinks and desserts look almost unreal and artificial. But when I get to taste, honestly, that was really surprisingly good. Even though the color looks a bit artificial, the flavors were proper on point. The only catch, from a ringgit perspective, is not exactly cheap. Over here, each piece and drink hover around 20 ringgit, which is pretty steep by local standards. Still though, if you're looking for a fun place to chill, shoot reels and snap pictures while sipping something colorful and tasty, this place is a cool stopover in Mount Austin. We are again misled by Google Maps. We thought the journey isn't that far from Mount Austin to our next destination, Johor Jaya. So we decided to walk there to exercise off the food we eat and to work out an appetite for our next meal. The reality? Well, Mount Austin to Johor Jaya is about 4 to 5 kilometers on foot. Not super far in theory, but with breezeway, highway and intersection to navigate, it still feels like quite the trek. On our way, we even passed by Tebrau City again, the same mall we were at earlier. And at that point, we keep asking each other every 10 minutes like clockwork, are we close yet? Finally, we make it to Johor Jaya. But at the most awkward time ever, around 4 PM, way too early for the Chinese New Year market to be in full swing. The Chinese New Year Bazaar typically runs daily until midnight, but most stores and street food don't start buzzing until the evening crowds roll in. Then we spotted Johor Jaya Family Food Court sitting right there, waving at us, begging us to come in. We are hungry, tired, but not in the mood to hunt down food research at this point. So we just go for it. Early dinner vibe activated. This place is one of the big outdoor food court in Johor Jaya with a huge variety of local Malaysian hawker store under one roof. Everything from rice, mee, satay and all those things that you can imagine. Aside from the store signages and some daylight coming through, the whole dining hall felt kind of dark and dim. So much so, I have to switch on night mode on my camera just to film it properly. But still, there are some cluster of locals happily eating in that dim, laid-back atmosphere. We are feeling a bit lazy to do serious food research here, and honestly, I'm not a food blogger, so I don't have to chase the latest and greatest for this video. We just wanted something simple to eat without too much stress.
Hello， 给我一个药材肉骨茶，还有一个这个苦瓜汤是
Since both my friend and I are in the mood for soupy comfort food, we ended up picking a store serving bak kut teh and bitter gourd soup.
没有一片啊，这个是什么肉啊？
There is nothing fancy about it, and we are all fully prepared for it to be just okay. Honestly though, at that moment, we are more thirsty than hungry. So the first thing that caught our eye is the ice kacang store. You know, piles of shaved ice with sweet red beans, nutty toppings, and syrup.
Makan.
I am mildly surprised because this ice kacang actually deliver. It is sweet, but not that heavy, cloying kind of sugar bomb.
Okay.
Our dinner arrived soon after. We share a bowl of bak kut teh with soup with rice.
Okay.
This bak kut teh version is the Malaysian herbal style, more subtle and aromatic compared to the peppery Singapore version. Which one is better? Honestly, comparing is kind of silly. We just enjoy both in their own way whenever we get them. But the real surprise is the bitter gourd soup. Wow, this is actually really good. You know how bitter gourd soup can sometimes just taste bitter and flat? Not here. Somehow, the soup has this wok hei essence infused into it, which is rare for a soup like this. And trust me, getting that smoky, savory depth into a clear soup isn't easy. The only letdown was the cut of the meat, a bit tougher than we hoped. If they used nicer cuts like pork ribs, it would have been even better. But hey, you generally get what you pay for, right? By the time we finished dinner, the lights in the food court finally turned on, and so did the karaoke stage at one end of the hall. And if you are like me, someone who appreciates our own singing and doesn't really want to listen to others belt out karaoke, then one tip, sit far away from the stage. Right next door the food court is the Johor Jaya Chinese New Year Bazaar, literally just a convenient slip straight into the festive zone. During Chinese New Year, this whole stretch of Jalan Detap in Taman Johor Jaya get closed off to traffic and transform into a bustling outdoor street bazaar. This is actually a pasar malam with a Chinese New Year twist. It is part of the bigger festive circuit happening across Johor Bahru from mid-January to 16 February 2026. And this spot alone has over 60 stores lined with red lanterns and festive vibes, making this place the biggest outdoor Chinese New Year festive market in Johor. If you are tired of air-conditioner mall and wanted something that feels more local, this is the place to be. The energy here is real, with the smell of bakwa wafting through the air, stacks of pineapple tarts, and bags of oranges and pomelo everywhere. The stores here are very local first. Little mom and pop vendor selling snacks, Chinese New Year cookies, decoration, fresh foods, hampers, and more. I was told these are often at more budget-friendly prices compared to the bigger malls. So expect to see things like mountain-high stacks of cookie tins, festive packaging, carts full of mandarin oranges and fresh fruits. And of course, no Chinese New Year Bazaar in Johor Bahru is complete without the bakwa. As I walked past, some stores like Abinker had long queues, which tells you these places are popular with both locals and visitors alike. I actually have a separate walking tour video of the Johor Jaya Chinese New Year market, so I will not dwell too much on it here. But if you want that full bazaar vibe, make sure to check out that video too. Taking the grab off Johor Jaya Chinese New Year Bazaar, our car starts racing towards the Johor Bahru immigration checkpoint. But of course, we couldn't resist one last quick stop. Just across the road from immigration is Johor Bahru City Square. That is the perfect place for last-minute shopping before heading back to Singapore. JB City Square has a natural advantage among the malls in Johor Bahru because it is literally just next to the causeway and custom. So it's always a magnet for day tripper crossing by public transport especially. We are not surprised to see a Chinese New Year market here too. Honestly, we will only be surprised if there isn't one during this season. After all, it is one of Johor Bahru classic festive shopping spots, especially for people crossing the border for a quick haul before heading home. By the time we arrive, almost 8 PM, we are expecting a big crowd and bustling indoor Chinese New Year market. But today, it felt a little low-key than I imagined. The City Square shopping mall is more subdued and neat than what I expected. Definitely not the rowdy Pasar Malam vibe you get in Sutera Mall I saw online or Johor Bahru Outdoor Bazaar. I still find the usual indoor Chinese New Year goodies like pineapple tarts, cookie tops, festive snacks, gift hampers, cookie brands like Joy Mum and other local bakeries, as well as decoration and red packets for the Chinese New Year season. So don't worry if you feel like you missed out elsewhere. This is your last chance to pick up anything you still need before heading back to Singapore. A lot of traditional Chinese New Year treats and festive snacks are right here in one place, with plenty of variety, even though this place is not mega huge. Whew, what a day! It has been one long adventure hopping between 4 different markets in Johor Bahru, all scattered around the city as we chase that Chinese New Year vibe. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button and tell me in the comments. Would you come all the way into Johor Bahru just to do Chinese New Year shopping? If you are new to this channel, please subscribe so you won't miss future travel adventure. And if there's no video coming in between now and Chinese New Year, let me wish you a happy Chinese New Year and 恭喜发财.